Greetings and welcome to episode 13 of The Good, the Bad, and the Poorly Written. My name's Luke. I'm a writer, director, and film editor. And in this series, we're taking a look at my first feature screenplay and trying to make it a bit better. The script is entitled Crime at 6,200 Feet. It's a neo-noir about a ski bum living in South Lake Tahoe who attempts to investigate a crime. I wrote it when I was a ski bum living in South Lake Tahoe. Today, we're looking at scene 32, where Sam meets up with Jenny, one of the suspects in the burglary he's investigating. Is he there to interrogate her, or is this whole thing just an excuse to flirt? There are a number of problems with the parentheticals and the action blocks in this section, so as we go, I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to do both of them better. Alright, let's get into it. Scene 32. Interior, Lakeside Inn and Casino, night. Sam sits at the bar on the casino's main gaming floor. The casino is filled with young, eager, mostly white male population of the ski town. Tall bros. The uniformly dressed boys crowd around the few girls in the bar, sometimes as many as 6 to 1. Even the brunette across the bar from Sam is surrounded by guys with short hair, hooded sweatshirts, and stocking caps. She was pretty, in a sort of Monica Lewinsky way. Sam watches them for a while before returning to his drink. He finishes the last sip of his drink and slides the glass towards the inside of the bar. He's getting ready to leave when a hand reaches out and touches his shoulder.
There you are.
Jenny, hey, I was beginning to think.
That I wasn't going to show.
Yeah,
I was downstairs. I always go downstairs. Upstairs is filled with too many of them.
She motions towards the tall bros. Sam, nodding and laughing.
you said it.
Jenny, motioning away from the bar.
Shall we?
Sam gets up and follows her down the stairs. Once again, he catches himself looking at the fit of her jeans and the way she walks, full of confidence and light on her toes. They board the escalator for the lower level. Okay, I'm going to stop it here. Remember way back in episode 6 we talked about missing scene slugs? In that episode, we were discussing if you were following a character, like from a living room to a kitchen, how it might make sense to leave it as one scene. And while we are following the characters here, I think it makes sense to split it into different scenes. First of all, we're changing elevation, and we're going to a different part of the casino. Next, I think shooting the escalator bit could take a significant amount of time, because each time you're going to reset, you need to go back to the top of the escalator to start this moment again. So production might want to allocate more time to filming this part of the scene. Now, aside from the missing scene breaks, I have two main problems with this section. First, the action blocks are way too long, at 8 and 5 lines. Like I said before, I like to keep mine around 3 or 4. Now, it isn't a rule, but I do think there's a good reason to keep your action blocks short, namely readability. Smaller action blocks are easier to read, whereas larger action blocks tend to bog down the reader and they start to skim, myself included. I like to do the same thing with long monologues and break apart the dialogue text with small actions from the person speaking, or from something in their surroundings, like another character reacting to what they're saying. Even though this will take the same amount of screen time in the final film, it really helps to read by not having a giant block of text. My next problem is with the parentheticals. Once again, there are way too many of them. There's even one that's in the wrong spot. Now, I know I've talked about parentheticals in previous episodes, but I haven't really defined them, so let's do that now. Parenthetical. Brief instructions placed in parentheses below a character's name, indicating how the line should be delivered. For example, bored or whispering. The parenthetical she motions at the top rows is after her line. It really should be its own action block because it's a separate action. It's not indicating how she should deliver that line. Out of the 9 included in this scene, probably only one of them is appropriate, the surprised, because that is actually informing how that line should be read. All of the other ones are really just actions the characters are doing. Alright, let's check out the revised version of the first part of the sequence. Scene 32. Interior, Lakeside Inn and Casino, night. Sam sits at the bar on the casino's main gaming floor, sipping a whiskey. He's watching a group of tabros, young local men all wearing hoodies and beanies, trying to flirt with one very flattered young woman. Finishing his drink, Sam knocks twice on the bar and slides the empty glass in. As he stands, a hand reaches out and touches his shoulder.
There you are.
Sam turns in surprise.
Jenny, hey, I was beginning to think.
That I wasn't going to show. I've been downstairs. Too many of them up here.
She motions at the tall bros. Sam laughs.
uh, ain't that the truth?
Shall we?
Sam nods yes and beckons Jenny to lead.
After you?
Jenny does a little curtsy and begins to walk away from the bar. Sam catches himself looking at her walk. She's light on her toes and full of confidence. They continue through the casino and board the... So not a lot of big changes here. I've shortened the action blocks and converted all of the misplaced parentheticals into actions. Let's keep going with Sam and Jenny on the escalator from the original. They board an escalator for the lower level.
Do you dance?
Jenny, turning and looking up at him.
Like, am I a stripper?
Sam blushes.
I didn't mean...
Jenny, reaching out and holding Sam's arm.
I'm just teasing you.
Sam, trying to regain his composure.
What I meant was... classical dance.
I used to do ballet, but not for a few years.
I can tell.
How's that?
By the way you walk, you have the gracefulness of the dancer.
This time, it was Jenny's turn to blush. She smiles and looks down. Just then, they reach the bottom of the escalator. Jenny, not paying attention, hits the bottom backwards. Her foot catches and she loses her balance. She starts to fall backwards. Sam puts one foot back, pushes off, springing forward. He jumps past Jenny, grabbing her. As his right foot touches down, he pivots around it, swinging Jenny around in his arms. He drops to one knee, still holding her.
Wow. Thanks.
Sam stands her up and takes half a step back.
I didn't expect you to sweep me off my feet.
She smiles the sort of smile that makes men forget what is in their best interest.
At least, not that quick.
Let's get a drink.
Sure.
Sam reaches his arm around Jenny to guide her towards the bar. To his surprise, she moves closer towards him. They take seats at the bar, and a husky bartender with a clean shave, earrings, and hair swept back comes up to them. Not surprisingly, young Luke hit a third scene inside of this long original scene. Going to a downstairs bar should really be a new scene because it's a new location and a new setup. So I'm going to stop the original here. The rest of the scene is all right. Some of the action is pretty overwritten, but the banter isn't too bad. So my main goal is just going to be to clean it up and smooth it out. Let's take a look at the revised version. 32A, Escalator.
Do you dance?
Jenny turns and looks up at Sam.
Do you think I'm a stripper?
Sam stammers and looks down.
I didn't mean...
Jenny playfully bops him on the arm.
Just teasing.
Right, yeah, I meant like classical dance.
I did ballet years ago.
I can tell.
How's that?
By the way you walk, you've got the gracefulness of the dancer.
Jenny blushes and looks down just as they reach the escalator bottom. Jenny doesn't notice the end of the escalator. Her foot catches and she begins to fall backwards. Sam jumps past her, then, pivoting as he lands, he catches Jenny and drops to one knee, still holding her.
Wow. Thanks.
Sam stands her up and takes half a step back.
I didn't expect you to sweep me off my feet.
She smiles and bites her lip.
At least, not that quick.
Let's go get a drink.
He reaches out to guide her to the downstairs bar and is surprised as she moves closer to him. They head towards two empty stools and take seats at the... So you can see how much easier it is to read when the action blocks are more simple and shorter, and how you really don't need parentheticals to describe actions. And by splitting up this large scene into smaller sub-scenes, it provides a clear path for production. And that'll be a wrap for today's episode. Next time, we'll pick up with the end of the original scene 32, where Sam and Jenny finish their night out. Until then, be good and write well.